What's up, everybody? Finally to the season finale for F1 as well, which means pretty much most of the racing from around the country and world is, done, at least stuff that you can watch that ain't paid subscriptions to anything. And I think it's been a pretty good year so far for racing. And, it sucks to see it go, but everyone, don't worry. After this weekend, Supercross is starting in January. So we're almost to where we, start all over again and going. If you didn't watch Supercross races last year, like make sure you do it because they had some pretty great stuff and the tracks look fantastic for this year. Really good. Actually, before we get on to this race, I want to throw a quick congratulations to Brittany Force on her second championship. Again, you saw when she was up and she was down a little bit in the middle, but she pulled it back in the end. Our top fuel dragster. So congratulations to her on yet another championship and another championship for the Force family. God knows they have enough of them. Now we can get to the big thing at hand, which would be the ending of a long season for F1 finally coming to an end here in Abu Dhabi last year, the controversy, how Max got the title during safety cars against Lewis and yada yada yada. Not getting back into it, but finally to an end here. At least there's no chance of a championship coming down to anything anyone can find weird. But there's a lot of stuff to figure out in the points. From second on back, really. Yeah, see how it unfolds after Max, didn't follow team orders, didn't let Checo get back by him. And that cost him 2 points that he could have had, which could have sent him into this weekend 2 points ahead of Charles Leclerc for a second. Instead, they come in tied. So, one position. And it's all over. Like if he loses by a point or something like that, I'd be pissed. Or something dumb. Just for him not listening. Max, that is. I'd be pissed if I was him, but only time will tell. And we'll tell Sunday at 8 a.m. on ESPN at Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi. Last year, a lot of good stuff here in the results. Max Verstappen won. Obviously, got the championship with how that all worked out. Again, a lot of people aren't happy. I don't think it's necessarily right, but it's the way it worked. So there's that. Lewis Hamilton second, Carlos Sainz third, Yuki Tsunoda got a fourth, so congratulations to him. Pierre Gasly fifth, Valtteri Bottas sixth, Lando Norris seventh, Fernando Alonso eighth, Esteban Ocon ninth, and Charles Leclerc 10th. And then the guys that were out of the points, Sebastian Vettel 11th, Daniel Ricciardo 12th, Mick Schumacher 14th, Sergio Perez 15th, George Russell 18th for Williams, and Mazepin finished 20th for Haas and didn't even start the race. Just the weirdest damn thing. But I only mentioned some of those drivers, shall I say, for certain reasons. I mentioned Sebastian Vettel. Why? Because it's his last weekend in F1. It's his last race ever as of now. He's retiring after this year, so I'd like to see how he's going to go out. This could be Daniel Ricciardo's last start in F1. Last time I checked, so I want to see what he can do. George Russell didn't run for Mercedes, and I think he's going to run a lot better this year. And Kevin Magnussen driving the car that Mazepin was in didn't even qualify, and I want to see what he can do. And this is Mick's last run, Mick Schumacher's last run for Haas, because he's getting replaced by Nico Hulkenberg. So this could be his last F1 race unless someone brings up plans. I really don't care how you feel. If there's this point where they didn't get any points, came back, got him points, and Mick was finally starting to do it in the last couple of weeks. He's just fallen off the cliff. He hasn't been good at all. You could try to argue me, but really hasn't looked good the last couple races. There's qualifying or racing. I mean, he moved up in the sprint race and all, he did that, but he just hasn't seemed. Sorry for the chair. He hasn't seemed there. So it sucks. We're gonna see what Nico can do in that car now. And we all know I like Mick Schumacher, respects his father, think he has great talent. It just hasn't worked out the back half of this year. So hopefully he finds something. Because again, like him, just depends on who opens up or where, but I'm sure he'll be racing somewhere next year. I'm just curious to see how it all comes to an end. And the standings going in, Charles Leclerc and Sergio Perez tied for second at 290 points, George Russell fourth at 265. So that 25-point buffer for them, he's not getting up ahead of them. But Lewis Hamilton's fifth at 240 and Carlos Sainz is sixth, 234. So really, it would take a great cluster for anyone to get Russell in fourth. So first and fourth, I'd say are pretty locked in. Second, still a big one. And then the two Alpines of Ocon in eighth and Fernando Alonso in ninth are just five. Fernando's just 5 points behind him. And we know how he feels about his teammate Esteban Ocon. Anyone that watches it know how he feels. Doesn't feel necessarily the greatest about him and can't wait for it to be over. So see how that relationship ends. Truly, I'm curious to see how that's going to go because it's either going to go really good or it's going to go really bad. But we'll figure that stuff out, later today. All kinds of practices. Tomorrow we got qualifying. Sunday, the season finale for early in the morning, 8 to 10. But it gives you the rest of the day if you're a football fan or anything of the sort to watch your team win, lose, get murdered, whatever it is. I know my teams, tend to like to do that, but overall should be a great race. And that's the big one. Who's going to be second in the points? And never mind fifth and sixth. I want to see what the Alpines are going to do because I know Fernando Alonso is not happy with Esteban Ocon. And I'm really just curious as to how that relationship's going to end in his last race. What does he have to lose? I mean, no matter what, they're not going to get along when they're on track together next year anyway. So we'll see. I think he'll be professional about it, unless someone runs him off the track again. Then God have mercy on them, because I have great faith that Fernando Alonso won't sit there and just take it. So got to see how that works out. Should be a great race though after a really good season. I mean, Max dominated, but there's been a lot of good racing behind him on the track. So see how it all works out. Difference between second place gives you enough of a reason to watch just because of that tie, to see where the dust settles and how small that gap is, because Max didn't follow team orders. I do want to see if Lewis Hamilton can hold on to the top five over Carlos Sainz, and also if he can get a win to continue that streak on for consecutive seasons with a win in F1. And I know Mercedes said that isn't like a top priority, to make sure that he gets that win. But I'd like to see if he could, figure out a way to do it, because they look good last weekend. So intrigued to see if he can. I don't think he's going to, but if they can have another, just solid day second, where they're fast, that's all that, I'd consider that a win. For how bad the season started, that would be a win for him, regardless if he got a trophy or not. So that one's, another intriguing battle. They're going to be right there near each other. So barring anything stupid. So that should be really exciting. Again, see how the Alpines, end their time together. I think Fernando Alonso will do the right thing, but if it comes, just because it's the last race this season, they have so many rules in F1, but got to see how it goes, how that, ends, see how Daniel Ricciardo fares in his last race with McLaren and possibly F1. I still think it's junk that they're getting rid of him after he got them their only win like the last forever, decade or whatever it was last year. And he's the one that's gone, doesn't have a ride. It's odd. I've always liked him. Couldn't watch it for a few years just because, divorces, couldn't have TV, like all this stuff. And then suddenly, I went from seeing him at Red Bull to there, a lot of years have gone by, but I always liked him. And I like the passion and the drive. I just, McLaren, like, you're just not driving good equipment anymore. So what do you expect him to do? But, curious to see that, see what Kevin Magnussen does, as he's pretty much carried the team 90% of the season. And now he knows Mick's not going to be the next year. So I want to see what he can do after Mazepin didn't even start, and to see if he outdoes Mick in Mick's last run with him. I'm still curious to see what he does. But lately it's been K-Mag's team pretty much the whole season. There's those couple weeks where, Mick was there and then he's fallen off again. Nothing against him. Who am I to talk trash? It's just compared to his teammate, it hasn't been there. I like when we talk about Bubba Wallace and Kurt. Kurt got over there, and well, here was Kurt, and then there was Bubba, just way down there, not doing the same. Eric Jones and Ty Dillon, like there's a lot of that. So I just want to see what he could do. Call me crazy. That's intriguing to me to see how the one American team can finish as well, just to get that done. And also see Sebastian Vettel, in his last race of his career. He'll be missed. I like this Vettel way more than Ferrari Vettel, but again, whenever you go to one of those teams, you seem to be more serious, less everything. I appreciate his passion that he's always had, no matter if I liked him, hated him, whatever. The man brings passion and ability and credibility to the sport. And he seems to be a really good human being outside of, not liking to lose, which you have to fully respect that. Who likes losing? I mean, no one really likes losing except for losers. And he's not won all the wins championships like he's done everything. And hopefully he goes out on a good note. Hopefully it's nothing stupid that happens, because we've seen so much stupid people running into each other, running each other off track. I hope nothing dumb happens, because that would completely, I want to see it go out, at least a complete race and nothing dumb. That's all I can ask for. And also, before we go, got to remember Daniel Ricciardo for wrecking Kevin Magnussen, I think, in like turn 6 on lap 1 last race. He has a 3-spot grid penalty. So he's starting his last race. 3 spots, behind all that. So that's also back there. But thank you for the watch and listen. Don't forget, follow along again on YouTube, so you can get all the shorts and all the other episodes that a minute or two, you can get all the clips and keep updated on everything. I will be back Monday to do the post show, and we'll do a full season in review on Friday to end it off. But again, get the YouTube thing to stay informed and never miss anything. I appreciate y'all. And until we meet again, enjoy your weekend, enjoy the race. Peace.